Hi Tjas. Yo, Bram here from Drum Tune Pro. So I think you still didn't get it, but I'm not sure. So let me demonstrate you how I tune my 12-inch tom to a C. That's what you want to do. I have to double check that I don't drop my camera stand here. So can you see this? Let me. Okie doke. That's a 10-inch tom, that's my 12-inch tom, that's a 13-inch tom. Pom 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 pom. You want to tune it to a C. I don't know what kind of sustain value you are tuning at, but let me check here how the drum is tuned. Let me open my app. This is iOS. In basic tuner mode. That's higher than the C, it's a D. Right, so to tune to a C, let me see how to get to the C. I have my second drum key here. Also to tune to a C, at this tension I could just like tune down the barrel head some, because that's really highly tensioned actually already. Let's see where we're at. So we have to go to 133. So now I'm tuning to the C. And as you could see, the lug pitches are much higher than the C in this case. So now we're tuning to a C. Getting there. I'm gradually going there. Don't really mind the lug pitches at the moment. I'm just showing the principle. So now I'm tuning to a C, but if you check the lug pitches, they are much higher. So let's clear them at 202. First lock target. I'm just clearing the head here. It's cleared, more or less. Let's focus on the opposing lug. It's all within half hertz precise. It's cleared. I don't know if the resonant head is cleared, but now we have a C. So the fundamental tone is a C, but the lug pitches are much higher. Again, remember what I did last time when I made you a video. So your head can't be slack, right? If you want to tune to a C in a nice way, let's start from a slack head. So this is, I'll do it below finger tight and then do it from scratch for you. Let me also detune the resonant head completely. Here we are. No tension whatsoever on the heads. Let's first finger tighten them. Yeah, with the suspension bracket here, with that kind of mount, it's not so easy to finger tighten those. I'll apply some center pressure. Am I filming actually? I'm not. Oh yes, I am. Alright, so I apply some center pressure, remove those wrinkles. They're off. From that point on, I'll just give it some extra quarter turn or so. And I'll do the same for the opposite head. Remove the wrinkles. I'll try to follow a little bit of star pattern here. I don't exaggerate with the pressure that I exert on the center of the head. I'll go a bit on feel here. So wrinkles are out. Horrible sound. Give it the extra twist with the key. Getting there, it's better. Now, what's the tone? 89, 81. Let's bring up the batter head a bit, because I already feel it's still too slack to sound properly, and but I don't want it too high. So I'm just gonna tune to a C. In a way, I think like, yeah, the batter head has a good feel here. Still a bit more. It's not the most fresh head, but it's not completely worn out neither. Because I've been raising the pitch of the batter head here, of course the fundamental tone also is higher now, 92. And I'm just going to focus on the resonant head now. I'm going to bring that up in pitch until we reach that C, because I like more or less the tension on the batter head, and let's later on fine tune it to get a good C out of this, but I'm just bringing that tone here in the tensioning range. It's a nice A though. This is a very nice sounding A. But let's continue for C. The head is not cleared yet, right? You can already clear the head at a lower spot. We're forcing it a bit, you hear it in the overtones, it's not as warm anymore, but that's also because it's a C, it's not an A. So for that drum, a C is more a higher note already. But if we find the right balance, we're not going to choke the heads too much, and we can get to a C with a relatively high tension on the resonant head and still a relatively low tension on the batter head. I'm forcing that resonant head already a little bit in the choking range, so I might have to tune up the batter head a bit to balance it out. I'm gonna do that. So, going to bring up the batter head still a bit, so that I don't have to force the resonant head too much. Good. We're going to get to a nice C here. Let's clear to a lug pitch of. Those are much higher. So let's first detune these a bit and add some extra tension here to even out the tension of the head. Alright, yeah, like 194 is a G, so let's bring those notes to that G, or whatever, you can choose any, 196 or so you can choose any note, but let's bring that to a G. I'm now tuning the heads, right? I picked the lug, which was 196, and now I'm just tensioning the other lugs to meet that 96. As I told you last time, this is not a high quality drum, it's a good drum. I love the sound. I made it myself, not the shells. I sanded the bearing edges and so on, and did the lacquer and whatever. But those bearing edges are hand sanded on a table with some sanding paper. So those are not machined very evenly. It's a self-made drum, and it has some unevenness in the bearing edge, which I can perfectly tune still. But it takes a bit. So it doesn't really matter to have new heads or a good drum or a bad drum. You can still tension a drum up and tune it up to become cleared, as long as the hoops are not too much bent and the shell is not too much out of circular shape. That head was cleared. Now let's clear the resonant head. As you can see here, the pitch is much higher. It's like above a B. Let's tune it here. I'm bringing it into that. I'm now just clearing it to a random 252, right on the spot, like 251 and a half actually. So these are lug pitches that I happen to choose. Using my ears, having some sound awareness. I'm not spending any effort in trying to figure out whether the drum is cleared or not. The app is doing that. And I'm making the tuning decisions. I'm here like creating a sound. I'm listening to what it is. And just use the app to help me discover the sound and get there and fine tune the app, the drum with the app. You can see it rings evenly. So only 2 lugs are half a hertz off still, which is like super good. Here is our C. Quite a balanced C here. So I just tuned to a C. And what I did was tuning the lug pitches to a completely different pitch than the C, as you could see. This was 252, and that other one was 197-ish. Now it changed already a bit, but 196. Alright. If you want to give that a final round of tweaking still, you can do, because we changed the tension on the drum a bit, and that affects how the batter head behaves. So you can give that a final fine tuning again. That's need to set. If you really want to have a more stable tuning, you would press, the heads a bit and fine tune again. But here we are. We are there at our C. 131 is the C. This is 130 and a half. Hit a bit harder and you will get 131. So that's how it's done. Out of nowhere, I've searched for a nice sounding C. Now, if you want to make a preset for that, you could do that. Go into the app. This is iOS. You add a drum. Trying to focus here. Okay. Tom, 12-inch, 6 lugs. We have that C. Let's see if we do short resonance. What are the short sustain here? What are the suggested values that the app gives? 197 and 255. In our case, we've tuned to something very similar here, 196, which is a perfect fifth above the fundamental tone. And we had a batter head lug pitch of 252. Done. Update. So I've created a customized tuning preset here with the exact lug pitches which we just discovered now, and it happens to be very close to the short sustain estimate that the app already gave. But any sound you tune, you can store that way. it's nice to notice here that you have bom 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 bom. That's a perfect fifth interval that you have, and that gives usually a harmonic sounding drum. Still at a reasonably slack barrel head, not too loose, not too tight for that given fundamental tone. Now, using preset tuner, so we have created our tuning preset here. If you do that, first hit center, then flip to edge, and you'll be able to check the tuning of the drum. Can't really keep the tuning that well, apparently, but as you can see, the readings are consistent. It's just changing tension still a bit. You can hear it's like a super even after ring. Again, let's do it again. So I'll detune the heads completely. I'll get back to that sound, you know? Using preset tuner mode now. So now we made a custom preset, we stored it, and before I was using basic tuner mode, now I'm going to use preset tuner mode to show you if you have some stored sounds, you can easily retrieve it. Good. This is a new starting point. Apply some center pressure if you want. So imagine you just changed your heads or whatever. Tune out those wrinkles. Give that extra quarter turn. And that head is now in a tensioning range at which it's low still, but it's having enough tension so that it can resonate. This is a thinner head, so it requires less tension to get to a higher pitch. And that also means that at its minimum tension, it already would have a higher pitch. I'll give that extra twist here. Voila! Now we are at a good starting point to bring the drum into the tension range we want to get into, and later on we're going to fine tune it. Still a bit too slack, I know that. So let's go to the preset tuner mode here. We load that preset from the list. That's a customized preset we just made. Let's see where we're at. Still too low, I know that. I'm not going to start tuning right now. I'm going to just check the fundamental in center mode, and I'm going to bring up the heads a little bit. So this is just tensioning the drum into the range we want to have. Checking it again. Getting there. I'm gonna give it that extra twist still. Let me now check that. 108. I can start tuning now. Let's check the log pitches. 177, 176. We need to go to 166, so these are much lower. And we know we need to go to 196. That's our tuning target. That's the one we custom stored, and it's now also showing that. Focusing on these because these are too low anyway. I'm gonna leave the others alone. Alright, and now I'm gonna bring that head into that ballpark 196 range. And I'll start fine tuning. This is a bit too high already. Bring these up. Okay. So now I'm evening the head. I'm clearing it. To get there's still a wobble in it. You'll hear it disappear when we gradually approach an even tension on it. When there's a certain look much off, I'm going to focus on that a bit more than on the others. Voila, we are there. We've tuned this drum head into a pitch range where it's really singing evenly. Every time I change the tension on a look, the adjacent looks and the opposing looks are affected. So when you're fine tuning, there will be a moment for those last hertz that you'll probably, chase your tail a bit. But in the end, once the tension is divided properly, that can be evened out. Now, I'll just press it and we'll do a second round of tuning later on. Now let's do the resonant head. Fundamental tone, it's still too low because the resonant head is not yet close to the target pitch. Bring that up. That one needs to get tuned higher a bit more. I'm just repeating the tuning I had before, step by step, showing you how to get a consistent drum sound. So, check the fundamental tone now. Okay, we're closer. The lug pitch is also closer. It's quite clear, but it's not yet cleared at the right pitch. Without fine tuning, I already felt that the head was properly cleared. Getting there. So let us fine tune the drum. -3, let me exert some pressure. That's most off now. Have to fix that. I need to add quite some tension at this point. That's some spot where the bearing edge is slightly uneven. But in the end, consequently half a hertz above the target lug pitch, but that's very, very well tuned. So let's check where we're at. We are back to the same tension we had before, you see. Let me re-clear the better head for a second. It's still very close to the target lug pitch. Still gonna fine tune it a bit. You'll hear it's already very even. The ring, and we have repeated our tuning from scratch. So we had a good sound, we just retrieved it. can stay consequently tuning to a certain sound. So if you have you're in a certain room and you have a certain sound that goes particularly well, or if you have one drum and you know one snare and one tom that you use for different occasions, different bands, different songs with different hats and so on, you can store those tunings in a customized preset. You can tell the app what heads are on the drum and so on. If you go to the edit screen, you can select the barrel head from the main manufacturers. You have to download the expansion packs and then you'll have many heads. It's not anymore the full range of the drum head manufacturer, but it's really like 95% of it or so. So you will still see for the main manufacturers the right type of heads, but you have to download those expansion packs. And that's really a way to ensure that your tuning presets kind of represent the real life situation. So okay, if I have a pinstripe on it and a diplomat, it's this tension and this tuning. And if I have an Evans on it and another EC head or whatever, then I have that tuning for that band. And so you can specify your tuning presets the way you want. And in the end, you'll end up with a list that is as long as you want with all your sounds in it. We went back to the same drum sound. So I've tuned the drum to a C a couple of times now. And it's quite fast. And it's very consistent, as you could see. Thank you.